Monday. So, as promised, it's My World Monday. And today we're going to talk about my birth story, how I learned that my beautiful son Amari just happened to have Down syndrome. So, I found out that Amari had Down syndrome when I was 13 weeks pregnant. And just as you could imagine, we were pretty shocked by the news, and a lot of things were going through our head. Now and reflecting, I'm so happy we were able to find out when we did. Funny, I get this question a lot. Were you disappointed? You know, disappointed is not the right word. That we did grieve the vision of the son we thought we might have. And so it's strange because when you think about that, right, either consciously or subconsciously, when you find out you're pregnant, your mind just begins to envision what you might do with that baby and who that baby might be, how that baby works in your family, and it's all of what you envision. And so you grieve that when you find out information that disrupts that vision. For this question, how did the family take the news? I decided to bring my husband into the conversation so he can share his perspective and we can share how our family took it together. So I'll start with sharing that, we had a lot of processing that we had to do when learning of our child having Down syndrome. However, we did not wait to tell our children. We wanted them to be a part of this process with us, and that's a choice for everyone. But we decided to share with our oldest first, and so he's 13, and so I shared with him the news. And really, just for those of you who don't know Brandon, he is a compassionate person. He's highly empathetic, always has been, kind, caring, warm, understanding. Typical teenager, but one of the best teenagers you'll be able to meet, because teenagers are just really difficult. But he just has very high social emotional intelligence, and so he took the news pretty easily, and I remember kind of almost fear mongering him a little bit by saying, like, well, you have to now go to college and go to college for the baby too, because he may not ever go to college and he may not ever play anything.
Never play a sport.
Never play a sport.
He's never gonna dunk.
And he's like,
okay.
He started to cry like that was the saddest story he had ever heard, and it was. And none of that is even true. Like, I don't even know what was going through my head, but I was afraid. I had a lot of fear in my mind, and so I kind of projected that on him. But he was first telling me, like, okay, like, it's not a big deal. He's going to be amazing, and I still can't wait to meet him. He just had so many positive things to say at the young age of 13. So now, do you want to share about maybe how you took the news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't read everything on the internet. The internet will tell you some positive, but a lot of stories that may not be atypical. But when we got the news, it was a shock. It was a shock. We didn't know what to expect. It's like, okay, you got your baby boy coming. You're like, okay, well, yeah, he's gonna dunk. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. Everything. He's gonna run track. He's gonna do everything that I did, and I had this vision for him. And then when we found out, it was like somebody punched you in the gut, and all air just like left your body. And I remember, like, Taryn was the only one that could console me after we found out. We left the Helen Graham Cancer Center where they did the testing. We had to go see the geneticist. She's really cool, though. You know what I mean? She was cool, but after that, it was just like you just broke down. Like, I broke down afterwards, because it was like everything in my mind that I had planned for. Once we found out she was pregnant, we're like, yes. Once we found out it was a boy, that was even it was crazy because we were talking about a lot of things, and then at the same time we found out that it was a boy. Was the same time that we found that he was diagnosed with Down syndrome. So it was like I looked at the geneticist and I was like, not my son, not him. And it was rough. Like I called my mom, dad, and it's funny because my brother Julius just happened to call me right as we left, and he caught me bawling, and he was like, "Everything okay?" So then I had to tell him, but after after a minute or so, you know, we realized that it's gonna be okay. Like if anything, it's gonna be okay. And Taryn was like, "You want to talk about it?" I said, she already knew where I was coming from with it. It's because you just have this vision of how you're going to do things, almost like you're pre-planning something that you have no control over. And it came to a point where we were just like, okay, let's stop and breathe. We already have two kids. We got a third one. He's just a child. He's a baby. And it's funny because we're talking to Dr. Smith. I said, Dr. Smith, I said, you know what? She's like, how you feel? I said, at this point, I said, I did my crying, I did what I had to. I said, we just gonna rock with it. I said, that's the only thing you can really do. You can't change it. Although Taryn's probably gonna tell you in probably previous videos that every time something positive came back, we're like, does he have it? No, he doesn't. Look at his nose. No, he don't have the heart thing. No, he's good. It's like, but we just had to come to the realization that okay, we have a son with Down syndrome, and that's that. It's this is what it is. No matter what you can hope for, wish for. That test that we took was 99.9999% accurate. That thing wasn't, and no matter how many, and me, I'm a numbers person. I kept saying to the geneticist, I said, but there's a 0.00001% chance that he doesn't have it. She's like, yeah, no, this thing is pretty accurate. So, but once we came to that point of where we were just like, we're gonna press forward, I think that's when things really start to take hold because you're just going on a different journey. That's it. You're just going on a different journey. You're still gonna raise a child. You're still gonna have your ups and downs, but it's like even with Kenzie, I don't know like what she's gonna do. Brandon, I don't know. So you just have to be aware that each child has their own special needs, and so that's how after getting through that piece. I mean, I think that's how we really got through it. Was like once we actually said, okay, well, he's a baby. This one man's right here. Like it's everything's gonna work out. Like everything really started working out. We went to the clinic, the Down syndrome clinic. Everybody was very helpful. I joined like 50 billion Facebook groups because I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, let me just join, and then you become, and once you start getting involved and you realize that you're not alone, because that was the biggest piece that I felt, at least like we're alone, like we're the only ones in our circle with this happening, and you realize that there's a bigger world out there than your own sphere. And now in the process of about to plug the Down Syndrome Association of Delaware, about to start the Dads group with Cameron. So we actually meet this week, but we're gonna shock the world. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna shock the world. And it's opened up my eyes so much, and be on the lookout for this one. Be on the lookout for all of them because what you know or what you think you have no clue. And for those who do know, you know exactly what real special child you have. And that's all I gotta say. Like, was that too much? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just kidding. So thanks for listening. Again, I'm going to hop on again on Friday to share some final thoughts from the week. But this is all in the spirit of bringing about positive awareness for World Down Syndrome Day, which is 3/21, March 21st. And that's when you rock your crazy socks in representation of Down syndrome and the three copies of the 21st chromosome, which is 3/21. And so I'm doing all this to bring about awareness, to try and connect if it's even to one person, and to just share my story because, again, if it supports someone else's pathway in their journey to be positive, that's more than enough for me. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.